What was it like when Dre's brother died? When you guys were on tour?
I remember because we was driving. It was early in the morning, and I remember hearing somebody crying because the beds are in the middle. Then there's room in the back that was usually Easy's room, and I heard somebody crying, and I get up and I look, and Dre's back there crying on his knees, and somebody said, told me his brother died. I was like, oh, okay. So we didn't even talk about it until later on that night when he was at the hotel and he told me, the brother fell or something. Whatever, he fell and broke his neck. However he died or something. And, it was just, because I knew Tyree, so we played paintball together. I knew him well, so. And it was just like, a little different, but, because he left home, he went home for a couple of days and he came back. So I had to do the show all by myself that night. I had to run all the show. So it was a little different, but you got over it and went right, got past it.
How many shows did you have to do by yourself?
Maybe one or two. It depends on, we might have been going on an off day or something when he left or something, but I know he missed a show, at least one. Maybe two. I don't think so, but yeah, I remember that.
That must have been a crazy time,
Oh, yeah.
during all that, man.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like being a consultant on the N.W.A. movie?
I didn't really do nothing. I wasn't asking any questions. I was just there, to tell you the truth. I mean, I told them about some of the studio scenes, what equipment we use, to make it, look more authentic. About the boards and about the machines, the drum machines and all that. I told them all that, but after that, I wasn't asked any more questions. So, I mean, it was cool. I liked the movie. The movie about us, which is unheard of. I mean, we'd have never thought they gonna make a movie about us. Us? Are you serious? If we'd have thought like that, like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be that big, we wouldn't be here talking.
Was it surprising? Like, we're getting a movie?
Oh yeah, I mean, very, definitely. It just never thought of it.
What was it like when they brought you in and started to be like, yo, we're gonna make this movie?
Well, I wasn't there. They only told me I came around after it was done, or after it was negotiated, or whatever. They came and got me right before shooting. Told me about it. I'm like, okay, that was it. I wasn't there in the early days. I wasn't there in the development day. I wasn't around all that. So,
I mean, you were a major. It seemed like they would have wanted you more. And
oh, I don't know. Hey.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't question. I don't. Ain't my business.
I think you mentioned that you didn't get as much money as you felt you should have got.
Oh, I mean, they paid me whatever they paid me. It is what it is. No big thing. I ain't heartbroken over that. It is what it is.
How accurate was the movie?
I say 60 to 70%, because it's just too much you had to put in there. So some of the things was put together that shouldn't have been put together. So it's just movies, they have to make it look bigger than what it is. Just like the Detroit scene, they ran us off the stage. Yeah, they ran us off the stage, but they didn't arrest us. They just gave us a ticket. But in the movie, they had to make it look dramatic. It's a movie. So I liked the movie. It was pretty cool. Accurate, 60, 65% maybe, but it was still, I liked it. It was a decent movie.
Oh yeah, the movie was dope.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have mind seeing like a 10-part series.
Yeah.
So we could have really
get a lot of it. Yeah.
Really get like a lot of it, man. I would have liked to see something like that. Hopefully, maybe someday they'll do something, but
you never know.
That would be dope. I think the part that everybody complained about was the part where Eazy was broke.
Well, I don't know. Well, it was rough in them lean years. I put it like this: it was some lean years, and he had more going out than coming in. I know it because he showed me. I've seen it with my own eyes. So you know, I mean, like I said, they just added more stuff to make the movie look good. I mean, but Ruthless, you know, it was going
Even
through
with
some.
Bone, because he had just signed Bone. I know they were doing.
Yeah, but Bone just started. Remember, there's a lot of other stuff in them other years. You know, deals getting broken. You know, because all the album deals we had, you had to come back with albums, or you lose them. So the deals was falling off. So that's why I said them was lean years. You know, did Ruthless recover? Yeah. But in them days, it was lean years. So, you know, that's why I said the movie had to make it look more than what it was. But it was rough times. So they was accurate about that.
In the movie, it seemed like it was more based on Cuban Dre.
Oh, I mean,
Would there be anything, you know what I'm saying, you doing like your own version of a series or anything like that?
I don't know. Maybe something off my book or something. You know, because my book is just my life. And N.W.A, Wrecking Crew, Eazy Dev, all this happened to be in my life. So you never know. Netflix or something. You never know what might come off of it. Might be a series. I don't know.
Yeah, I think people would like it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, you know, they still love them old stories.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, the N.W.A times.
Oh yeah.
I think you mentioned you just hung out with Dre. How's he been doing since he had his aneurysm?
I mean, he looked healthy. He looked okay. So, you know, I didn't ask him about it, you know, but I asked him, "You okay?" You know, so he said he okay. So I just take word, you know. He looked okay, so he gained a little weight, so he must be okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually, if they skinny or something, something's going on. But nah, he looked healthy.
I think everybody was worried about him there for a while.
Yeah.
You know, I know he's going through it with his ex and everything like that.
Grown folk stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about, pretty sure it was NWA days, where Michael Jackson wanted to work with Dre?
I never heard of that one.
Really?
I heard about Prince. Maybe not really, not Michael Jackson. I heard some about it, but that never happened. That never even came around. Michael Jackson, Prince, maybe Prince. I think Dre was gonna do something with him, but that was after Ruthless.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, that was after. It just they did never whatever. I remember him telling me about it, but it wasn't Michael Jackson. It was Prince, but it didn't happen.
Okay. Can you tell me about your book a little bit?
I mean, it's just my life story from 4 years old to 2020, and it's just in order. You know, that's just how I wrote it, and it just tells everything. I didn't make the book to say, oh, they didn't have me in the movie that much, so I made the book. Nah, it wasn't like that. I just did my story because it took me a year and a half to write it during the whole pandemic. So I wrote it, and it's just my testimony. You know, before music, way before music. You know, before the Wrecking Crew, doing the Wrecking Crew. Cause I was in the Wrecking Crew a couple of years before Dre even came around. So it just a lot of stuff. Missing pieces, you know, little missing pieces of stuff, you know, people that really, a lot of that stuff nobody knew because I never said it in interviews or nothing like that. So I just give my whole testimony, my whole life, just what happened in my life. Ups, downs, under the ground, seemed like it. It just all kind of stuff. So they say it's a good read, so.
Go get it, definitely.
Yeah.
How'd you meet Alonzo?
Ooh. I remember my buddy of mine named Cool Hand Luke. He knew them because they was DJs or DJing in the club, and he brung me there. I remember, and that's how I ended up working there, being a DJ. You know, he brung me up there, and I met him, and it clicked after that.
What did everybody sound like at first? You know, like when you guys are developing your style, you know, Ice Cube and Dre, did it ever sound different, like the evolution of music?
I mean, it just sounded younger, you know, coming from the Wrecking Crew music to N.W.A. music. It's just way different. You know, we just started out one way, then we just turned around and it was this way. So it just, you know, when you're young and in the beginning, you just sound this way. Then when you start growing up, it sound this way. And by the time we got to the last album, we was growing up.
At what point did you start making music?
This was a couple of years. I DJ'd. Dre came, and we still was DJs for a while. And then we just started making the music. I remember me and Dre looking at Run DMC concert. You know, we had them at the club, and we looked at their little 10-minute show, like, that's it. That's all it is to this. And from there on, we just started doing music.
That easy.
Just like that.
Now, when you say making music, were you just making beats? Or were you guys writing lyrics at the same time?
Well, we started doing mixtapes, real mixtapes back then. Real mixtapes was actually mixing records and stuff, not rapping and all that. That wasn't mixtapes. We started doing real mixtapes. We started making bootleg mixtapes, which was a one-sided 12-inch. Then we started making beats, so we got a drum machine, and then we just started doing the music, making songs.
So a mixtape back then was just songs.
It was a mix
from a DJ's.
Yeah,
it mixed so people
that's
could play
what
it
they was called, mixtape.
at a party. Okay.
Yeah, it was just a mix. You know, people could play in their car, listen to it. You know, having somebody mixing songs on the tape back then, that was like ahead of itself. You know, that was ahead of the game right there. So,
how much would you guys sell them for?
I think it was $5 maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But we did our own. I did my, matter of fact, I did a mixtape before Dre was even around. In the early days of the Wrecking Crew, I did a mixtape. And when Dre came around, we started making the mixed records, you know, the 12-inch bootlegs, and then in music, and just kept on going.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah.
This was dope. Dope history, you know. I mean, I've been, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times. I've been a fan since the 80s.
Oh,
yeah. You know, I grew up on you guys. That's my, you know, my era of music.
Yeah, okay,
so,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Everybody liked that era. Whether they're young or old, they starting to like that era. Late 80s, 90s, they just...
The late 80s, the 90s.
That was the cream of the crop music for hip-hop. That was the golden time right there.
I think so, but...
Yeah, nowadays, there's just too many artists. Too many... Everybody sound the same. It just... I guess it's all right, but it just ain't my cup of tea. It ain't my music.
We're a little biased, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah.